The spread of COVID-19 has put paid to lifestyle as we know it, that we used to, for now at least. In a bid to, contain it, government has prohibited public gatherings of more than 100 people, and churches, mosques, temples and synagogues have also taken steps to ensure that their respective congregations are well informed and educated about the virus. I want to talk now to the National Director of the South African Jewish Board of Deputies, Wendy Kahn, about the measures that they have put in place for the Jewish community here in South Africa. She joins us via Skype. Wendy, a very good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning.
Talk to us, Wendy, about the general mood in the community there and, with regards to the panic and uncertainty and fear that people have about the novel coronavirus.
Yeah, I think the despondency, I think the fear, I think the uncertainty is in our community as it is with all South Africans at the moment. I think, and not just South Africans, I think globally, it's in a very distressing time, very uncertain time, unprecedented time in terms of the measures that we need to implement and the real impact that is having on daily life. And our community is no exception. We have taken this very, very seriously. We understand that our community, as all South Africans, have a role to play in stopping the spread of the virus. Yeah. And whatever we need to do, and however draconian and however painful some of those decisions have been, we are resolute that what we need to do, whatever has to be done. So a week ago, last Sunday, we made a decision to close our schools. Yeah. At that stage, it was a temporary closure for a week. It was superseded that evening by President Ramaphosa's instructions to close all schools for the next few weeks, and that has been done. Some of our schools have started distance learning, and that process is ongoing. But the decision that was made on Thursday was probably one of the most painful, I think it was Wednesday actually, one of the most painful decisions, and that was to close our synagogues. Jewish people pray 3 times a day. We pray in the morning, we pray in the late afternoon, and we pray at night. So it's really part of who we are. It's part of the fabric of our society. It's a part of the daily routine. Yeah. So it's really hit us hard. People who have their entire lives built their lives around those prayer services, and suddenly now they are praying solo at home. And of course, tonight and tomorrow is our Sabbath. And really a time that the Jewish community comes together, and we go to synagogue, and we not just engaging with God, but we're engaging with our fellow community members. And it's such a pivotal part of our community, and I think it's going to be really painful tomorrow morning to wake up and know that we don't have a synagogue to go to, that we are confined to our homes. We don't watch television, we don't do anything else. We're going to be at home tomorrow and really thinking very deeply and praying that this terrible pandemic, the damage is limited.
Look, I guess it's a real test for the faithful here in South Africa, especially, the lead up to Easter, where people, often go to Mass and services. And I'm talking across the board as well, in all religious aspects of our lives, all religions as well. They have these events during this time. And it's such a test, I guess, for somebody who's so used to, doing certain things in a specific time frame, to not do it anymore. How are people coping? What are they saying to you?
Yeah, I think what you just said is really what it's all about. What we're used to. Yeah. And I think what COVID-19 has done is it's taken us out of our comfort zones, and it's taken us away from how our lives actually function to a totally different dimension. So Easter is going to be incredibly painful for people. Not being able to go for the ZCC, not going on the highlight of their year up to Mariah. Yeah. And for us, we won't be having the same celebrations around Passover that we do every year, where we have big family gatherings, and it's just such a highlight of who we are as Jews. And this year we're going to do it differently. We're just going to have our families around the table. And I suppose it's just creating new realities and new ways of doing things. Another area where we are very concerned is on celebrations. Many of our wedding ceremonies and wedding celebrations have been either postponed or really downgraded to just a family occasion, and that's something that we put a lot of pressure on our community to do. Bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs, these have all been postponed, and the other area, of course, is funerals. We need to do whatever we can to limit the numbers because that's going to limit the spread.
Yeah. The president yesterday was talking about the critical role that the faith community can play in helping curb the spread of coronavirus, the novel coronavirus. What sort of initiatives do you have as the Jewish Board of Deputies in order to better inform the community about COVID-19?
This is critical. This is an absolutely critical area. And right from the beginning, we established an online platform for the Jewish community to do education and communication, because unless we understand how this virus is operating, until we understand how we can play a role in stopping the spread of the virus, we're just we're not able to really to stop that spread. So what we've done is we've created an online platform. We have regular podcasts from experts like Professor Barry Shub that come through dealing with issues like self-quarantine. How do we self-quarantine? How should we be looking after our elderly? What is the likelihood of all these important questions that keep coming up, and we are responding. We also have a hotline for our community that if there are questions, we can respond to those questions, and we're all the time pumping through information, clarification, and appeals for people. How do you wash your hands?
Yeah.
What is social distancing? Why is social distancing so important?
Yeah.
Unless we're explaining, we're taking it so much for granted that people around us do not understand these concepts. We need to keep talking about them. We need to keep reinforcing them. And we need to make sure that they are part of actually the fabric of our society now. Don't come into my space if you're not going to implement these kind of measures.
Yeah, as we've been saying, Wendy, danger is real and fear is a choice. And the more information that you give your community, I guess it equips them to help them make these choices as well. Wendy, we thank you very much indeed for giving us a perspective, a window into what people are going through currently here in South Africa. Wendy Kahn, the National Director of the South African Jewish Board of Deputies, talking to us about the situation on the ground. Wendy, thank you. Stay healthy.